He returned home earlier than anyone expected that day. The skies above were dark, though it was still daytime, and heavy raindrops hammered the streets like falling shards of glass. He had just finished his meeting hours ahead of schedule, eager to surprise his family, to walk through the front doors with gifts for the little ones he loved most in the world, his triplet daughters. But as he turned into his driveway, a scene froze him to the bone. Beneath the great oak tree, 3 tiny figures sat drenched in the rain, their bright yellow dresses plastered to their trembling bodies, their tiny shoes caked with mud. His heart shattered instantly. Those were his girls, his triplets, crying, hugging one another, abandoned in the cold rain. And standing not far away, his new wife, the woman he had trusted with his children, was climbing into a sleek black car, her eyes refusing to meet his. In that moment, he knew his world would never be the same. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of never turning away from the people who need you most, then please take a second right now to like this video, leave a comment, share it with a friend, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. It helps us continue sharing these heartfelt stories that remind us all of the importance of love and compassion. The rainwater streamed down his face, mixing with tears he could no longer hold back as he rushed to the tree. His little girls clung to him, sobbing, their tiny arms wrapping around his neck like they feared he would vanish too. He could feel their cold, shivering bodies, their fragile hearts beating against his chest, and all he could think was, how could anyone do this to them? These girls were his entire life. He had promised their late mother that he would protect them, that he would give them a childhood full of love. And yet, here they were, shivering in the rain, left like forgotten toys on the side of a cruel world. The story of how he reached this point was not a simple one. He had been widowed far too early in life, left to raise 3 daughters on his own. It was a battle every single day, working long hours, cooking, cleaning, rocking them to sleep when the nightmares came. He lived with exhaustion, but also with joy. His daughters' laughter was his strength, their small milestones his reward. But as the years went by, the loneliness grew heavier. He thought he had found someone who could share that weight, someone who would love his girls as her own. She had seemed perfect at first, warm smiles, gentle words, promises of devotion. He had dared to believe again. Yet behind closed doors, the truth unfolded differently. She complained about the endless responsibilities, the noise of children, the sacrifices she had to make. She wanted freedom, parties, a glamorous life untouched by muddy shoes or late-night cries. And slowly, her kindness toward the girls began to fade. He ignored the red flags, convincing himself that she just needed time to adjust, that love would grow where it seemed absent. But on that cold, rainy day, he saw the truth laid bare. Her heart had never been with them. He carried the girls inside, wrapping them in warm blankets, whispering promises he wasn't sure he could keep, but knew he had to. That night, as the storm raged outside, he sat in silence, listening to the sound of their breathing as they slept beside him. His mind was a battlefield of anger, betrayal, and regret. But beneath it all, there was something stronger, a determination that no matter who walked away, he would never, ever abandon them. The days that followed were not easy. The whispers from neighbors, the pitying looks from friends, the endless questions about how he could have trusted her. He shielded his daughters from it all, putting on a smile when they needed it, though inside his heart was breaking. Bills piled up. Exhaustion returned. But there was also a renewed strength in him. He began waking earlier, cooking them warm breakfasts before school, holding their little hands on the walk to class, and telling them every single day how much they meant to him. Slowly, their tears turned to laughter again. Their fear faded, and their eyes began to sparkle with trust. One afternoon, weeks later, as the sun broke through after days of gray skies, he took them to the park. The girls ran across the grass, their yellow dresses fluttering like little beams of light. He sat on the bench, watching them play, and realized that despite the pain of betrayal, life had given him something far greater than he had ever deserved, 3 beautiful reasons to keep moving forward. His wife had walked away, but his daughters had stayed. They were his true companions, his forever family. And then something unexpected happened. At the park, an older woman approached him. She had been watching quietly, her eyes filled with a kind of knowing compassion. She struck up a conversation, and over time, she became a friend, not a replacement, not someone to fill a void, but a gentle soul who reminded him that kindness still existed in the world. She never tried to step into a role she didn't belong in. Instead, she became a part of their story naturally, offering warmth without expectation. Through her, he learned that healing wasn't about replacing what was lost, it was about cherishing what remained. The triplets grew stronger, braver, more joyful. They learned resilience not from lectures, but from their father's example. They saw a man who was broken but refused to stay that way, who chose love over bitterness, who fought for their happiness even when it cost him everything. Years later, those little girls would look back on the stormy day they were abandoned, not as the day their lives ended, but as the day their father's love became unshakable. And perhaps that is the most powerful truth of all, that in the moments when the world abandons us, when the people we trust most leave us in the cold rain, love can still carry us through. Not the shallow love of convenience, but the fierce, selfless love that holds a family together no matter what storms rage outside. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who believes in family and resilience, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness Corner. Your support helps us continue telling stories that bring hope and light to the world. Before we end, we have a special request. Tell us in the comments below what this story meant to you, or share a moment when love and kindness carried you through a storm. We'd love to read your thoughts. And so, under the bright daylight after a long storm, the father stood stronger than ever, holding his daughter's hands as the sun finally broke through the clouds. What began as tragedy became a testimony of love unbroken, a reminder that even in our darkest hours, the light of kindness can guide us home. And so, as the daylight slowly broke through the storm clouds, the image of that man standing in the rain with his triplets would forever remain etched in memory, not just for him, but for anyone who hears this story. Life had taken everything from him in one cruel moment. But in that same moment, it gave him the chance to discover what truly mattered, the bond of a father's love and the unshakable strength of his children. The mansion behind him, the wealth, the betrayal, all of it faded into the background. What remained in the foreground, shining even through the rain, were three fragile hearts that still trusted him, still needed him, and still loved him without condition. This story reminds us that sometimes the greatest tragedies reveal the deepest treasures. No storm lasts forever, and no betrayal can break the bond of true love. What carries us forward are the choices we make in the darkest hour. He chose love. He chose his children. And in that choice, he found the path to healing and hope.